Tanner Scott to Dodgers, $72 million contract. Fantasy fallout and reliever risks, rewards. What's up, fantasy baseball fans? If you're like me, your mind is already racing ahead to the 2025 season. And I've got some huge news out of Los Angeles that you won't want to miss. The Dodgers, fresh off a World Series win and a loaded offseason, have just made another splash by signing Tanner Scott to a massive $72 million contract. Now, I know what you're thinking. What does this mean for Scott's fantasy value? And how does this affect the Dodgers bullpen? Is Scott the next big closer in LA? Or is he just another cog in the machine? Stick around, because we're about to break down all the risks, rewards, and fantasy fallout from this deal. First up, let's talk about Tanner Scott's journey. If you told me a few years ago that Scott would be signing a 4-year, $72 million contract, I would have said you were nuts. This is a guy who was drafted in the 6th round in 2014 by the Orioles and spent the first few years of his career looking like, well, just another hard-throwing reliever with some serious command issues. He had a career 4.73 ERA from 2017 to 2021. And frankly, nobody was talking about him as a future elite option. But hold on, because Scott's story is about to take a wild turn. In 2022, after a trade to the Miami Marlins, he showed some signs of life with 90 strikeouts in just under 65 innings. And a 4.37 ERA. Not terrible, but not exactly all-star material. Then came 2023, where he exploded onto the scene. A 2.04 ERA. 188 strikeouts in 150 innings. And 34 saves. Yeah, that's more like it. Scott's performance was so dominant, in fact, that he became one of the most coveted relievers on the free agent market. And with good reason. This guy can flat out miss bats. And that's what makes him such an intriguing fantasy option for 2025. So, what makes Scott so good? Well, for starters, his fastball is nasty. In 2024, he averaged 97 miles per hour with his four-seamer. And it routinely touches triple digits. That's serious heat, and it's no wonder batters struggle against it. In fact, hitters only managed to hit .134 against his four-seam fastball last year, with just 4 extra base hits in 162 plate appearances. That's dominant, but Scott's not a one-pitch wonder. He pairs that fastball with a filthy slider. And let me tell you, hitters are not squaring this one up. His slider generated a 38.8% whiff rate last season. And with the way he mixes it with that blazing fastball, it's nearly impossible to predict what's coming. To put it in perspective, Scott ranked in the 99th percentile for hard hit percentage, 27.3%, and the 90th percentile or better in expected ERA. Expected batting average, whiff rate, and barrel rate. All of that sounds great, right? But here's the catch. The only area where Scott struggles is his control. Now, before you start drafting Scott as your next fantasy closer, we've got to talk about the one big red flag, Scott's control issues. In 2024, he walked 36 batters in 72 innings, which is a 12.2% walk rate. Yikes. That's not ideal, and it's a major reason why his whip is a little scary. For fantasy players, this is a big problem. Especially in leagues where whip and walks matter. It's hard to overlook the damage that a guy with this kind of walk rate can do to your ratios, even if he's piling up the strikeouts. But here's the thing. If Scott can continue to limit hard contact and refine his control, those walks become less of a concern. Alright, here's the million-dollar question. What role is Tanner Scott going to play with the Dodgers? Given the huge contract, many fans and fantasy owners might assume that Scott is going to be handed the closer's role right out of the gate. And hey, he could be, but we have to remember, this is the Dodgers we're talking about. The Dodgers have plenty of other arms in their bullpen, including Blake Trinan, who's proven he can close games, and Michael Kopech, who's shown flashes of brilliance. The team might play it smart and use Scott in a variety of high-leverage situations, rather than committing to him as the full-time closer. That means he could get fewer save opportunities than you might expect. However, I'd still say there's a solid chance Scott takes the lion's share of save chances for the Dodgers in 2025. But keep in mind that this could be a committee situation, and you might see other guys picking up saves here and there. That could lead to some frustration for fantasy owners. So, where does Scott rank among relievers for 2025? Before the Dodgers deal, Scott's fantasy upside was definitely intriguing. But now, with the Dodgers' stacked lineup and the possibility of a big save total, his stock has gone way up. Is he a top-tier closer? Probably not, thanks to the control issues and the competition in Las Bullpen. But he's definitely in the conversation with the next group of elite relievers, the ones who can get you a ton of saves with a low ERA and strikeout rate. He may not be the first reliever off the board, but he's certainly in that second tier. And in the right situation, he could easily finish the year as one of the top fantasy closers. To sum it all up, here's what you need to know about Tanner Scott for fantasy baseball in 2025. The control issues are a huge concern. He can blow up your whip if he's walking too many batters. The Dodgers' bullpen is deep, which means Scott's save opportunities could be limited, and he could be used in a committee. Rewards. Scott's stuff is elite. The strikeouts and weak contact make him a fantasy asset, even if his control is a bit wild. With the Dodgers expected to win a lot of games, Scott should get plenty of save opportunities and provide high strikeouts and a low ERA. So, what do you think, fantasy owners? Is Tanner Scott worth the risk in 2025? Will he be the Dodgers' closer? Or will his control issues hold him back? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. I want to hear how you're ranking Scott heading into the season. And as always, don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe for more fantasy baseball content, and turn on notifications so you never miss an update. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time with more fantasy baseball insights. Dodgers signed Tanner Scott to 4-year, $72 million deal. MLB's top reliever lands in LA. Alright, Dodgers fans, get ready. Because the team just made another huge move this offseason that's going to have the MLB buzzing. I'm talking about Tanner Scott, the hottest free agent reliever on the market. And now, he's officially in Dodger blue. A 4-year, $72 million deal. Yes, you heard that right. This move is massive, and I've got all the details you need. So stick around for the full breakdown. But wait, what does this mean for the Dodgers' already stacked bullpen? Their World Series chances, and the rest of the league? You might want to grab a drink for this one. Let's dive in. First off, let's talk about who Tanner Scott is. He's not just your average reliever. Scott is coming off a dominant year in which he posted a 2.73 ERA with the San Diego Padres after a mid-season trade from the Miami Marlins. I mean, this guy was untouchable in the playoffs. Thrown 5 scoreless innings and striking out 7, 4 of those against none other than Shohei Ohtani. Now, I don't know about you, but when you can make Ohtani look like a little leaguer, you've got some serious stuff. Scott's fastball-slider combo from the left side? Forget about it. He has the lowest hard hit rate among pitchers with at least 70 innings last year. Basically, if you're a batter facing him, you're praying for a walk, because good luck making contact. The Dodgers are clearly betting on his ability to keep improving on his control, because let's be real, he's already one of the most lethal arms in the game when he's on. Now, you might be wondering, why is this deal such a big deal? Well, here's why. $72 million for a reliever is huge. It's not every day a bullpen arm gets a contract this size. And it's one of the biggest deals handed out to a reliever in MLB history. The only one larger? Edwin Diaz's 5-year, $102 million deal with the New York Mets. But let's be honest, Scott is in some elite company. Scott is more than just a good arm, he's a game changer. The Dodgers didn't just want a guy who can come in for a clean inning. They wanted someone who could dominate in any role. Closer? Check. Setup man? Check. You need a guy who can shut down lefties and even give righties fits when the lights are brightest in the postseason? Tanner Scott is your guy. Alright, let's zoom out for a second. The Dodgers are on an absolute tear this offseason. You want a championship roster? They've got it. Not only did they lock up Scott, but let's not forget they also landed Blake Snell. Yes, Blake Snell, to a 5-year, $182 million deal. Oh, and don't forget they also brought in Michael Conforto and Teoscar Hernandez. All solid additions to an already stacked roster. I mean, the Dodgers don't seem to be slowing down. They're going all in this season, adding Roki Sasaki from Japan and Hae-Sung Kim from Korea to further bolster the team. It's like they're trying to collect every possible player who could lead them to another World Series title. Now, here's where it gets interesting. The Dodgers' payroll is going way up. We're talking over $375 million. And by the time the 2025 season starts, it'll likely be closer to $400 million. Yes, you read that correctly. And, as you know, with that level of spending comes luxury tax penalties. Because the Dodgers have been over the $241 million luxury tax threshold for 3 years running, they're now being taxed 50% on every dollar spent above that. So yeah, they're dropping some serious cash, but here's the thing. They've got it. And they're willing to spend it. Why? Because they believe this will lead to more World Series titles. The Dodgers are going for broke. And it's working. Their strategy is simple. Stack the roster with as much talent as possible and go all in for another title. They're willing to eat the future costs because they know the short-term payoff is worth it. That kind of mentality also makes them a destination for other top-tier free agents. Who doesn't want to play for a team that's willing to spend whatever it takes to win? But here's the ultimate question. Will all this spending pay off? The Dodgers front office believes it will. They're clearly not just going for a good season. They're aiming for sustained dominance. By loading up with players who have proven they can perform at the highest level. The Dodgers are building a powerhouse. They're willing to deal with the financial implications later because, at the end of the day, it's all about World Series trophies. If it works, and the Dodgers win multiple championships, no one will blink an eye at the spending spree. If it doesn't, well, we'll be looking at a few more years of insanely expensive contracts. But for now, it's hard not to love what they're doing. They're pushing all their chips to the center of the table and going for broke. And honestly, can you blame them? So, what's next for the Dodgers? Are they done making moves? With the team already loaded up, it's tough to say. But one thing's for sure, they're going to be one of the most exciting teams to watch in 2025. Scott's addition just adds to an already lethal bullpen and strengthens their playoff push. And with all the other moves they've made, it's safe to say that the Dodgers will be the team to beat for years to come. So, Dodgers fans, what do you think of the new addition of Tanner Scott? Is this the final piece for a dynasty or just another move in a series of aggressive signings? Let me know in the comments below. I want to hear your thoughts on how this deal affects the Dodgers' chances for another championship. And if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe, and ring that bell so you don't miss out on all things Dodgers, MLB analysis, and more. This offseason is only getting started. Stay tuned, because I'll be bringing you all the latest updates.